look, we're not going to agree on some politics, a lot of politics surrounding this issue. But I do think that Mr. Heiss and I and others on the subcommittee and the full committee can try to find common ground, though, in dealing with some of the crevices that have been exposed that need to be fixed in law. Emily Murphy herself, the GSA administrator, urged Congress to pass legislation to address the ambiguity around the process of ascertainment and to better define what ascertainment is and when it's triggered, so that that burden is not in the hands of some future administrator to make that decision. And I think my friend Mr. Heiss might be receptive to trying to address that legislatively, along with some other issues we've got. Mr.
I am,
Steyer,
I am. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Heiss. I welcome that collaboration, and let's try to do that. Mr. Stars laid out a number of legislative suggestions from the partnership that I think we also ought to take a look at. They're nonpartisan. God knows Mr. Steyer has gone out of his way to stress that. But that's a good thing. And I do think there's fertile ground there for further legislative action. In my own opening statement, I talked about sort of the midnight regulation process. And again, that's building on bipartisan legislation, utilizing GAO as an analytical tool to try to bring to bear substantive judgment on, well, what happened, what's good, what's bad, what's indifferent, and what, if anything, we can and should do about it. So I want to thank all of our witnesses for their remarks. I want to commend my colleagues for participating in, I think, a very timely and important conversation. I want to insert into the record a statement of support for the hearing from the White House Transition Project. I also want to thank our able staff. These are not easy circumstances in which to organize a hearing. I want to thank our witnesses for their cooperation and their patience with the technology and with the schedule of the House. And without objection, all members will have 5 legislative days within which to submit additional written questions for the record. And if you go through the chair, we'll make sure they are entered into the record. I ask our witnesses to respond as promptly as possible to any written questions we forward to them. And with that, this hearing is adjourned.